Thanks everybody for coming today. This moment means a lot to us in the aviation department, the city of Albuquerque. We've been working on this renovation project for some years now, but the actual construction started just over a year ago. And so this is a big milestone for us to open up the new TSA checkpoint. There was a lot of work in this area that the public didn't see, but a lot of people will remember that we had a Tia Juanita's restaurant over here, a Black Mesa. We had some retail shops across the hall, but we had IT offices back here. We had meeting rooms. We cleared everything out. James did the demolition, raised the ceiling up by 15 feet, redid the penthouses up above on the roof that housed the HVAC equipment, electrical, and a lot of that infrastructure. And so this was a really very time-consuming element of the project, and probably the most complicated from a coordination standpoint, because it entails a lot of IT infrastructure, electrical, and hooking up all of the TSA equipment to make sure it's operational. So a couple days ago, I did a few interviews with some of the local TV stations. Y'all are here today. Thank you for coming. And I said, if we're able to verify functionality of the TSA equipment, we will open on Saturday morning. Well, we opened this morning. So we got up really early. The team was out here at 3:30 a.m. for the opening of the checkpoint. We took a selfie with our very first passenger to make it through the TSA checkpoint. So we've been having fun with it. A lot of the elements are still falling into place. As you can see, the area is not totally complete. I will talk about a little bit of that and next steps in the overall Dream of Flight renovation project a little later on in this session. But I just wanted to give a shout out right now to some of our partners who helped to make this moment possible and who we will be continuing to work with in the next phases of the renovation project. So big thanks to TSA. It was a heavy lift on the coordination, but they showed up for us each and every day to ensure that we were able to pull this off, and we thank them from the bottom of our hearts. APD also, you'll see they have a presence over here in the law enforcement station, and they've been a great partner throughout. And all of our airline partners, very patient with us, working day to day to make sure that we are coordinating all the changes that are going on here throughout the terminal. The general contractor, Janes Corporation, has done a fantastic job. A lot of those folks are back in the back of this space right here. We thank you all for coordinating with us, working with us to make this a success today for the opening of TSA. FBT is the architect. We've got some of them here today as well. They're an integral part of the team. We've got a construction manager at risk delivery method, which means the architect is with us throughout the process, and it's iterative, and so they're integral to the whole construction process. Arcadis is the interior designer. They did a wonderful job. You can see the fruition of their work here today. NV5, the engineering firm, critical role there. I want to call out, so Janes had over 20 subcontractors that they worked with. I'm not going to rattle all 20 off today, but Year Out Mechanical, WPI, B&D, Winter Finishes, Western States, CNC, and SSI were some of the most integral to this project thus far, and will be continuing to work with us. Also, we have some unsung heroes that really enabled and participated day to day in the execution of this project, and will continue to do so as well. And that's our aviation department teams, especially IT, facilities and maintenance, planning. They work so hard, and they don't get a whole lot of recognition, and so I wanted to thank them for all their hard work. Some of those folks didn't sleep over the last 2 days. In fact, one of them was here for like about 24 hours. So just so much hard work went into this.
You know, you go back to very late in 2019 when this was just a concept. We're looking, the team at that time was looking at 3 areas: the infrastructure needs here, the possibility to expand the TSA checkpoint, and also looking at new concepts for the concessions program, which was to look at not a passerby concept that we have now where you pass by the different concessions, but have a flow-through concept, which means that when you get out of the TSA checkpoint, you'll flow through the new concessions area, and then you also have the passerby concept. So we have a hybrid program that a lot of the airports are going to, and so we're progressing with that. It's also expanded out some of the concessions. We have additional concessions facilities, but this takes us in that new era for this airport, getting us ready for the growth of this city and this state. So appreciate everybody being here. Each year, we have over 5 million passengers to pass through the gateway of New Mexico, connecting our citizens to not only the nationwide, but also abroad. And then in turn, we also have the passengers that are coming here to really enjoy the land of enchantment, enjoying the outdoors, enjoying the opportunities here, the entertainment here in the city and the state. So we want to be prepared for that, to have this gateway for them to come in. It's always that first impression and last impression, and we want to set that tone when they come here so they have a great experience when they're in the state of New Mexico. This soft opening is a significant phase of the Dream of Flight that provides an expeditious processing of our passengers through the TSA checkpoint, and it ensures the safety of all passengers and staff, which has always been our top priority. It's ensuring the safety and security of the passengers who come through here day in, day out. This is an area that, you have about 15 to 16,000 people traveling through here every day, a large conglomeration of passengers going through this, and we ensure their safety and security, not only in this facility, but also on our airfield. We have a team that manages that area, and so we work together, collaborative with all the federal agencies and also our local partners to ensure that safety and security. The new checkpoint expanded the ceiling height to bring in the reference of New Mexico's open spaces. If you've been through our previous checkpoint, the low ceilings and everything, looking a little tight, this is a wide open space area. We've expanded our checkpoint passenger management area by 50%. We also have the ability for future growth to expand our TSA check lanes when we get to that checkpoint on that. The Dream of Flight project prepares Sunport for expansion as a growing and sustainable transportation hub and enhances the travel experience for our passengers as they move through ABQ and move on throughout the state and the nation. We appreciate everybody's attendance here for this event. It's a big day for us. It's a big opening. We've been working hard on this. We've had a lot of collaboration and a lot of partners who have made this a success. So I want to just thank everybody. Thank you so much.
This is a very special occasion, and it's one that actually even few mayors get to do. Renovating the airport is a once-in-a-generation activity. And making sure that we retain all the New Mexico-ness of our airport is also an incredibly high bar because everyone loves the airport. Part of this operation was to make sure that we don't change anything that's already good. And so, but we are demonstrating that actually we can even rise above and improve this tremendous facility. So there's just a couple of things that I want to highlight here with you this morning. First and foremost, this is a special weekend in our city. The New Mexico Bowl is on this afternoon. Some of you may not care at all about the New Mexico Bowl, but because New Mexico State is playing in it, it is going to be the largest sporting event our city has had in decades. So it is awesome, and that is relevant to the airport. We tried to time some of these openings with the holidays and major events. So as a special treat to the over 30,000 people who are coming to the New Mexico Bowl, those folks who are going through the airport get to use the new security. So great job on the team for that. We've also timed roughly for the holidays and for January. As you look that direction, right? This project isn't done. It's going to be 30% bigger. So just in layman's terms, when we say it's a new and improved, bigger security facility, you're only seeing 70% of it. And so that's going to be a tremendous opening again, sort of I think in January. Now, a couple of other things that we want to highlight. Number one, the financing behind this. I get questions all the time. Why are we spending money on the airport? Great question. First off, this is not taxpayer money or budget money. This actually is revenues from the airport itself. So the amazing thing is we're able to do this without taking away from anything. You can't use airport revenue for crime fighting. You can't use airport revenue for homelessness. Just want, this, believe it or not, it's the number one question I get. So these are dedicated revenues from the airport that we're putting back into the airport. Now there's a person behind this who has to figure all this out, and he is retiring in 2 weeks. So I want to take a moment to give the money behind everything some credit. Our CFO, Sanjay Bhakta, he oversees the airport. Great job putting this together. So a couple of other facts about this. Of course, the next phase is going to be really behind the scenes. It's all about HVAC and electrical systems, sprinklers, things like that. And then our final phase is going to be the new food hall, which is essentially going to be where old security was. And so much more to look forward to over the next year and a half. Now, the last thing I want to touch on is, of course, the sort of defining characteristics of this airport. And that absolutely first and foremost is art and design. And so we're going to hear from some folks from our arts and culture department. We have many artists here with us. Thank you all for coming this morning. I want to highlight how incredible these two pieces are behind me. Art fans, like if you look at this, I remember we were picking this, it's actually like different colors depending on where you look at it. It's just awesome. But make sure you look at it from different sides. It's also placed near the window in part to get that different coloring. And windows, by the way, are very rare in airports. So to have a window when you're standing in line is actually a really good soothing thing that TSA loves and we all love as travelers, but also incredible art to reflect not only on, but to reflect back at us this amazing place that we live and the amazing people that live here. And so also on this side, this one has tremendous color that also sort of changes again with that natural lighting. So these are just amazing pieces that, it's just my opinion, but I think these are amazing. So I really appreciate the artists who put them together. You see another one behind you over there is part of this is our first batch of new art. And there's another one back in the renovation. And I know our release is gonna touch on sort of all of those and the artists are here. So by definition, this is the largest public arts project to date in the city, because of all the additional pieces for all the additional artwork. So that is also amazing. So I wanna just thank all our artists, everyone who works in the arts community. Thank you for keeping this going. Lastly, the construction companies and the contractors, the folks that have been working on this. This is a project labor agreement. And it's also a CMR. So these are two new construction programs from the city that we set up and our CFO helped organize, City Council passed. But these are leading the way in terms of our city and our state in terms of how to do big projects on time and on budget. And I have to tell you, this team, I got a memo once that said like, the airport, the Sunport project is 5 days behind. And I was like, that is the best project memo I have ever gotten on a construction project. And they're probably now caught up or ahead. But the point is, so far, this has been incredible. So I do want to give a round of applause to everyone, especially in the back, who's been up late tonight. Excellent job. All right, so with that, we're excited about the future phases, but for now, we're going to enjoy this tremendous new facility. Oh, one last thing. You can see some of the new themes of the design coming through. And you see them in the light fixtures there. That's going to be the new sort of type of lighting. And you also see them in the chairs on the inside, where we have a mix of our old traditional chairs that we've rehabbed. And then we do have some new ones along the walls because everyone wants plug outlets. But they match sort of color scheme wise. And so we're going to continue that sort of upgrade, but keep our traditions throughout the process in ways big and small.
I do want to say that in November of this year, the City of Albuquerque Public Art Program celebrated its 45th anniversary. And we've had a lot of mayoral and city council support, especially from Mayor Tim Keller. And it was his vision that this project continue the tradition of having incredible public art in our airport. And so back in May of 2023, this year, we announced a call for New Mexico artists. The goal has been to showcase and support artists from New Mexico. We received almost 400 applications from artists from around the state, and that's for 5 sites that includes this general area. There's still 4 more locations and review processes to go through as the construction continues. We have a 9-member committee that is made up of some of the airport staff, some of the arts board, and some community representatives. I'd like to acknowledge that there's 2 of them here today, Luann Bird and Fred. Are you still there? There's Fred in the background, thank you, as well as a few of our airport staff. The general theme for the entire airport renovation project is called Dream of Flight, and that is actually inspired by the larger-than-life sculpture that is currently located at the T-connector location between the 2 terminals. That sculpture was acquired in the 1980s and has been an icon of this airport for many, many years. And so the whole concept of Dream of Flight is what the committee's been working with. In this particular area, the committee was most interested in sort of providing artwork that reminds people of either home, if you're a local and you're getting on a plane and you're leaving, or if you're a visitor, where you have just been in our beautiful state. So this area in particular was about showcasing our beautiful landscape, our beautiful cultures, and we have so much more to do. So with that, I would like to bring up our 5 artists that we're celebrating today as the first acquisitions for this project. So we are so excited that the committee and the Albuquerque Arts Board and Mayor Keller's administration and Mayor himself was in agreement with these incredible pieces by these amazing artists. So starting here to my left is the first artwork called Saints View at the CC, and that is by Alvin Giltapia. And on my right, we have an artwork called Colors Above Hamus by Angus McPherson. Towards the back southwest corner in this area, we have a collage work called Sailing by Virginia Primozic. As you go around the corner more towards the security area, we have a piece called Equilibrium by Deborah Hohola. And then finally, for this very first phase, we have a very, very large painting up over the Recompose area by Jesse Littlebird entitled Monsoon Season Up Near Abiquiu. So as I mentioned, we're very excited. This is the first phase out of 5 phases. We are still in the process of reviewing more of those almost 400 artist applications. The very, very large wall to my left is the next phase, and we're super excited about those artist proposals coming in tomorrow. That's our deadline, and the committee's going to be back at work making some more artist selections.
What's really remarkable to me is that the art that we have here on our walls and the artists who created them are representative of the people of our state. And the fact of the matter is that those almost 400 proposals that we got were all New Mexican artists. We're not spreading this call beyond the state, and we made that a deliberate choice because we knew we had the talent right here in New Mexico. And as the Gateway of New Mexico, the Sunport wanted to recognize, celebrate, and showcase the artwork from these local artists. And so Sherry and team, thank you so much for making this first phase of that project a reality. Just want to reemphasize again, the budget, the $3 million budget, that's 3.5% of the total $87 million price tag of the core renovation project. That's well over the 1% threshold that's common across the country. And that's because we are dedicated to really celebrating the art and the people of New Mexico, and it's not taxpayer dollars, aviation funds.
When TSA was created, we started off with a 2-lane checkpoint. I believe it was 2 to 3 lanes. We added another one, and then finally we had the construction project that created the checkpoint that we just moved from. And that was a huge event. That was back in 2006. And so, yes, I was around for that one as well. So it's a great pleasure to be here for this next phase in the Sunport history. And I hope I'm around for a lot of others. First thing I'd like to do, though, is thank the City of Albuquerque and the Aviation Department for providing TSA with this beautifully designed, new and expanded checkpoint. It's just been an amazing process, but working with the Sunport, working with the city, working with Jane's, working with FBT architects, with all the subs, everyone has been tremendous, and it's really truly been a team effort. We didn't get to this point today without a lot of work and a lot of effort and a lot of planning from all these groups. So thank you very much. We appreciate your support greatly. We have an exceptional partnership, and I think we're very fortunate to have that partnership, and it shows in the quality of this wonderful, wonderful airport. And that's what made this checkpoint possible, and that's what's going to make the entire project possible. It's a huge, huge success. We're fortunate that we've had a very spacious checkpoint for many years now, but now we're even more fortunate to have an expanded and more spacious area that you are now here to see. Not all airports around the country have this luxury. I mean, for those of you who have ever traveled to other airports, they're pretty cramped checkpoints in a lot of different airports. So we are exceptionally blessed with the amount of space that we're able to devote to TSA, and we appreciate it. An expanded checkpoint means less congestion in the queue and in the actual screening lanes. Sometimes the screening process gets very hectic. Passengers are crowded into areas. Even if you have a big space, there's still going to be a little bit more congestion because of the process itself. This is going to alleviate some of that, and I think it's going to make it a better, more positive experience for the traveling public, because it's going to be a little bit more relaxed. So one of the goals was indeed, and I hope that we've accomplished that, is a more positive traveler experience. And I mean, what more could you ask, this beautiful setting and a huge checkpoint? Now, upon completion of the checkpoint, as many have already noted, we will have 2 additional lanes. So we've gone from an 8-lane checkpoint to an 8-lane checkpoint. We don't have all 8 lanes up and running at the moment because the construction continues, but a month and a half or so, we will have all 8 lanes, and we'll return to that operation. We don't always operate all 8 lanes all the time. It always is dependent on passenger volume. And of course, holiday periods, balloon fiesta, that's the time when you're going to see us operating at max capacity. There's a projected record-breaking holiday travel passenger volume. That's being projected for holidays 2023. We're ready for it. As a matter of fact, if Balloon Fiesta was any indication, then Christmas, New Year's, it's going to be booming here. So we've got an expanded checkpoint, but the process, the screening process, everything is going to be the same. So we'd like to remind the traveling public to follow the travel guidelines. TSA puts out lots and lots of information every single year. It helps people to prepare for travel. We need people to remember to continue to allow extra time. An expanded queue is not going to take that part away. Need to allow extra time to get through security. Need to allow time for the entire travel process. But if anything, the security portion might take a little bit more time just because of the volume. In preparing for travel, that means to be aware of the prohibited items, the things that you can and cannot carry on board an airplane, the things that you can't pack in a bag. And of course, another kind of more current topic is the prohibition of firearms. So those things are not allowed through the checkpoint. And of course, the liquids and gels restriction continues, and that's something that we see a lot of. So, being prepared for travel is really, really an important thing to do. TSA has an amazing website. We also have an account where you can ask TSA and get real-time information back within 30 minutes. So there's a lot of resources out there. But again, we need to remind people, especially with Christmas approaching so quickly, we will see this checkpoint with lots and lots of folks in it. So the more prepared passengers are, the easier the process is going to be, and the more positive of a travel experience there will be.
We are very fortunate to have a very efficient TSA operation, and that is in large part to the efficiency and I think the attention that this TSA team plays to really ensuring that we get passengers here through the checkpoint faster than most other medium hub airports around the country. And so our passengers who come through the Sunport are used to that and aware of that. But during this transitional phase in the holidays, observe the 2 hours minimum in advance arrival time at the airport before your flight. Let me talk about next steps in the project. As I mentioned, over the next month, we'll see the rest of the TSA area open up. We do have a temporary recompose area just past the screening equipment. The permanent recompose area that's going to have some very nice furniture, more comfortable places for people to sit, and will be quite spacious. That's going to open up as part of the new food hall opening, which is going to occur in around September of 2024. So we're looking to open up the new food hall in September 2024. That's the critical next phase of the project. But at the same time, we'll also see temporary walls going up in the Great Hall in January and temporary walls going up in front of Rio Grande Pub in January as well. So still a lot of changes to come. The passengers will experience this at the end of that process, and even really in the middle of the process as we roll out some of our first new concession spaces. They'll be able to enjoy the redeveloped concessions program. And so some of you may already know we've awarded 12 of the 16 food and beverage units in the new program to Fresquez Concessions. Most of those 12 units are going to be brand new businesses for the airport. Folks will recognize them from out on the streets of Albuquerque and around the state, and that was very deliberate on our part. We wanted to bring in recognizable brands into the airport. So I'm talking about Annapurna spinoff called Rush of Prana, The Grove, Sadie's of New Mexico, Teller Distillery, Steel Bender Brewery, Santa Fe Brewery. All of those concepts are going to be here in the new program, and they're going to be rolling out more than about 8-9 months from now. Okay, so we're really excited about that. But that's not all. We still have 4 other food and beverage units out there. Those awards will be announced after we assess the proposals, which is happening early next year. And we're also putting out a retail RFP. The timeline has been delayed slightly. We decided to hold off on putting it out right now because we're getting close to the holidays. We're putting out the retail RFP in early January. Okay, so that's for the 10 retail units that'll be part of our new concessions program. And another exciting element of that is that we are also very deliberately going to be encouraging more local products, okay, produced by businesses that are around the state, as well as local artisans. And so we already have a lot of that in our program, but we're going to plus it up. And the concessionaires are all very excited about that, and we look forward to working with them to make that vision a reality. Passengers will also see some of the work that's happening out in the A and B concourses. And if you've flown in recently or flown out, you can see it already in some of the hold rooms where the seating areas are in front of the gates. So especially in A concourse, where we've got Southwest and United Airlines and Spirit Airlines doing their flight operations. A lot of those hold rooms are already done. We've got new carpeting, some of the reupholstered heritage furniture that the mayor mentioned earlier has already been deployed, and the new beam seating, and that comes along with modern charge points, USB and electrical outlets, so that we don't have people needing to plug into pillar outlets and sitting on the floors and stuff like that, right? We're modernizing this place at the same time as we're respecting the sense of place. And I think for folks who are going to be watching on television, you can't see this perhaps, but the floors in this area are the traditional brick pavers, and it's kind of remarkable just how even they made this floor here with the brick pavers. You'll hear the telltale click clack as people bring their luggage over the brick pavers, and that's a signature Sunport thing. I don't think that happens in any other airport, and that's something that we we know and love. The overall project is slated to end at the end of 2024. So there'll be some punch list items we'll finish out over the following months, but the core project ends at the end of 2024. That said, some of the tenant improvement build-outs for the concessions units will stretch out a bit into 2025. And so, we're really not quite halfway there, but this milestone means that we've made great progress, and we're looking forward to what's to come.